Fine. Oh. We'll call the Goshen Board of Education Monday, January 10th, 2022, 7 p.m. regular meeting to order. Do I have a motion to approve Brian Bailey as a treasurer pro temp for the meeting? So move. We have a first. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any questions? If none, Mr. Bailey, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Herrera? Yes. Mrs. Gray?
Yes.
Mrs. Casey?
Yes.
Mr. Bentine?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes. We have a motion to approve tonight's agenda, including the addendum.
So moved.
We have a first. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Are there any questions? None. Mr. Bailey, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Bentine?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Herrera? Yes. Mrs. Gray?
Yes.
Mrs. Casey?
Yes.
At this time, can we have a moment of silence? Thank you. All right, this time we'd like to ask Wendy Flynn, the principal of Goshen Middle School, to lead us into the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
All right. Middle school team, if you'll join me up here. There's a monitor kind of all the way around the room, so we can stand over here. I have a large team with me today. It could be even larger. I'm going to go ahead and start. When we try to decide what we want to share with you each year, there are so many great things happening. It's hard to choose one. And so oftentimes I leave it up to our building leadership team and we have a discussion and they go talk to their teams. And this year we decided to talk about the opportunities that are provided at Goshen Middle School. We're going to focus specifically with this group of students on our accelerated classes. But I did want to start just by talking about how we try to really focus on that portrait of a graduate that was established as a district goal a couple years ago. And on this first slide, this is something that I keep at the forefront of my mind when I'm having conversations with students. So I focus on the things that they're drawn to, something that they're naturally good at, and then help them decide if that's a passion, it can lead to a purpose and then a profession, hopefully. And so I encourage them to just have the courage to seek out different opportunities to learn about the different things that they may not even realize they have a passion for. Our PBIS program with the G, the M, and the S, it also ties perfectly into our portrait of a graduate. So our G stands for growth mindset. We talk about that all the time. Motivation for M, and social responsibility. So it's kind of the whole package. We're always talking about that portrait of a graduate and their life path and how it starts now at the middle school. I wanted to just quickly list the increased encore opportunities that we have at the middle school. I've been at the middle school 7 years. And when I started, it essentially was band, choir, art, a computer class, and we got Project Lead the Way, I think, the second year I was there, and then PE and health. And that was essentially all of the encore classes that we have. Now, today, I've listed for you all of the opportunities that students have to take different classes, again, to search for what they might be passionate about and what they're naturally drawn to. The other great thing is it leads to great relationships with the staff, because then the staff got to choose something that fits into the content that they teach, but that they may be a little bit more passionate about. So for example, under miscellaneous, you'll see crochet, right? Like that's an opportunity that didn't exist a couple years ago. Mrs. Mink, our art teacher, is really passionate about crochet. And there are several students who chose that as one of their opportunities this year. We've got acting and bucket drumming. Mrs. Hansford offered those this year. Guitar, music production from Mrs. Petty. We've got all the Project Lead the Way courses. Mrs. Shaw offers a workshop called Girls Who Dig Earth. It's all about recycling and having a green thumb, all that fun stuff. So I just wanted to kind of let you know, we also have, which is so exciting, we're so thankful Mrs. Walker shares these staff with us. We have French exploration, Spanish exploration, and American Sign Language also offered for a quarter class at the middle school. So with all that said, now I'm going to turn it over to staff and students to talk a little bit about how our accelerated program has grown and what opportunities that offers our students.
All right, so I'm Angela Clark and I teach the accelerated social studies over at the middle school. I'm going to start kind of though with language arts. A lot of what I do in social studies also wraps in with language arts and informational text. However, since the language arts curriculum spirals, in 7th grade, our students have the opportunity to take 8th grade language arts, which is also kind of a lot of the same standards. And then when they get to 8th grade, they're actually taking freshman English and they're earning that high school credit. So as you can see, everything that we do in the middle school as far as the accelerated goes, when they go into 8th grade, most of them are taking a full high school course load, which provides them with more opportunities in high school to explore other areas and get ahead. As far as social studies is concerned, my 7th grade class is 7th and 8th grade. It's a compacted 7th grade curriculum with a full year of 8th grade. So coming up with that course design a few years ago, it took many twists and turns to finally get it to where we're at, but we're in a good place with that course now. And by the time they get to 8th grade, they are actually taking a high school social studies class, which helps them prepare for ACT and also allows them for more electives eventually when they do get to high school. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kim Kelly. I'm the 7th grade math accelerated teacher. So 7th grade or math, luckily it kind of builds together. So in 7th grade, they take all of 7th grade and all of 8th grade math in 1 year. So we try to mesh as much of it together. So if a unit can start with the 7th grade piece and then add in the 8th grade piece, so it's not two completely separate contents. Do something called a grid method, and allows students also to take pre-tests to kind of work their way out of content that they already know. And then as Mrs. Clark said, by taking that 7th grade and 8th grade year in 7th grade, it allows them to take the high school credit as a 8th grader. So you go into high school with their 9th grade math credit already.
Did you want to talk about social studies anymore?
No, I think I hit everything.
So as far as science, very similar to in 7th grade, it's the full 8th grade curriculum. So they talk about genetics and natural selection. And then also something to mention, when they take the state test at the end of the year, they get advanced placement. So if they score accelerated, it bumps them up to advanced. And if they scored advanced, it bumps them up to advanced plus. So that's a really cool opportunity they have that year as well. And then in 8th grade, then for science, they'll complete the 9th grade curriculum. So again, going into high school with the credit already for science.
Another thing I wanted to mention, so we have been redesignated as an Ohio school to watch. And one of the things that during that process that they encourage you to do is they give you feedback on ways to improve your middle school. And so the accelerated courses, increasing the amount of those and how many students are taking those was one of their suggestions. And the other was languages. And so I really am proud of the staff and the opportunities that we've been able to offer the students. Originally, when we had just math and ELA accelerated classes, we had one group of students that did that, so 25. Currently, we have 88 students in the 8th grade that are taking all 4 content areas at the 9th grade level, and then we have 110 who are taking the freshman math, the integrated 1 math credit. And then every 8th grader is offered the opportunity to get their health credit by taking that online in the 8th grade. So they have several opportunities to leave the middle school with some high school credit. All right, so moving on, we're going to talk a little bit more about the portrait of a graduate with the student's perspective. And so I am going to let the students talk to you a little bit about their experience as accelerated students and how that ties into the portrait of a graduate and their viewpoint. So we're going to start with Nathan Burke, and he's going to talk about effective communication.
When in accelerated classes, you present to the class more often. This means that you need to be able to effectively communicate your ideas to your classmates. In accelerated classes, they teach you to become an effective communicator by making it more comfortable because you are familiar with your classmates and won't get nervous speaking in front of them. Also in ELA, we have discussions about what we are learning. We also work in small groups and have to share our ideas. Finally, teamwork helps with communication because when you work together, you become more comfortable around people. It also makes you open to other people's ideas. By becoming an effective communicator, this will help you in the future, not only in school, but also as an adult.
Hi, my name is Lorenzo Kemper. I'm going to be talking about being a fearless learner. So when I first started at Goshen, I was hesitant to raise my hand, ask questions, or share my thoughts because I was afraid of making mistakes and failing. But in my 8.5 years that I've been in Goshen, I've slowly but surely learned to overcome that. I learned that no one can be perfect all the time and that asking questions is a good thing and putting yourself out there is a good thing because become a better learner. My teachers and the learning programs that I take part in are the reason I was able to learn this. I set super high expectations for myself, like most of the people around me, and both my teachers and the learning programs I take part in have taught me that imperfection and mistakes are what allow you to achieve overall perfection and improvement. My teachers support me in every way possible when it comes to making progression as a learner, and without them, I would not be where I am today. They, as well as the advanced courses I take, really push me to further myself and my knowledge. The challenges that come with being in advanced courses force me to ask questions in order to finish, which is the reason I've learned how important it is. If I had been stuck learning things that didn't push me like the advanced courses do, I don't think I would have learned to be a fearless learner.
My name is Miranda Royal, and I'm going to talk about being a resilient individual. The accelerated program at GMS has contributed heavily to the resiliency I show every day in class. It has shown me that making a mistake is okay as long as you don't give up. Whenever I do make a mistake, there are always teachers encouraging me to get up and keep trying, which has greatly helped me. The accelerated program has helped me learn that just because I am not good at something does not mean that I will never be good at it. There is a lot of pressure that I face every day, and the accelerated program has taught me how to push through that stress. This has helped me to excel in both sports and school. The accelerated program has helped me learn to adapt to changes that might arise in my life. Because of the accelerated program, I'm able to face and overcome challenges, as well as push through stress and difficulty. It has had an overwhelmingly positive effect on my life and has greatly helped me to prepare for my future.
In my time at GMS, I have found that this school really cares about social responsibility. An example of this is Hope Squad, which I have been a part of since I was nominated in the 6th grade. In Hope Squad, I've been able to become more socially responsible by helping other students deal with mental and emotional struggles in their lives. An example of how Hope Squad helps students is how we are able to help honor students deal with stress and anxiety they often feel when trying to keep grades up and excel in their classes. Students being able to have a safe environment to talk about struggles and challenges in their lives has been very beneficial for our school and has allowed more students to get the help they need. This has made more students become socially responsible and trustworthy. Firstly, I am in honors classes and have found that when I struggle, talking to other students in honors classes helps not only me become more confident, it helps us all connect and become more socially responsible.
All right, so that is our presentation. We did miss a couple of things that we just wanted to point out. Mr. Edwards, if you could go back just one
Yes,
slide.
I'll go ahead and take the blame
No,
for
it's okay.
missing whatever,
It's okay.
considering I'm driving this PowerPoint over here. I'm doing a bad
I
job.
think it's the one before this one.
Okay, so just go ahead and correct me now.
No, I'm sorry, thank you.
Okay.
So we just wanted to mention too, the accelerated classes obviously have increased rigor. ACT prep, it gets them ready a lot sooner. It frees up their schedule again for the AP classes, the dual credit classes, other electives to search for those passions. Big one is an opportunity for families to save money when their child or their student goes to college. And so, like the students have said, and I think they did a fantastic job of doing so, it prepares them in lots of ways other than just academically. It prepares them for life, and that's what we at the middle school really feel like, our ultimate goal and job is to do, to prepare them to be successful in life. So thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a quick comment, and we talk about all the college opportunities offered at the high school, all the career pathway programs we have at the high school. The foundation's laid in what these guys are doing. I don't know how many of you saw me talking to Mrs. Nolan out there, who was very proudly talking about her son and how he's classified as a junior, now and getting his parking pass at the end of the year early because of all the work that he did to prepare in high school and all the way down to middle school. So it opens the doors for them by taking all these classes at the middle school level, challenges them, and gets them ready for those spots at high school.
I just want to say you guys did a fabulous job speaking, and thanks for coming tonight.
And Ms.
Really
Friend,
appreciate it.
there are certificates here.
Yes.
Want to hand these out now? I have a pen.
Good job.
Thank you.
And then if you brought anybody with you, you can go ahead and introduce them. We'll start here on the corner.
That's my mom. She raised me and she helped. That's my mom in the back of the room.
The small board in the back is my family.
I'm there.
Your dad's up here.
He's right. My dad's up there.
All right, well, thank you all for coming. Great job.
Hello, Michael.
Switch groups.
Oh, Michael.
Goodbye.
All right.
Another is a handbag.
Oh, yes, it was all me.
So next item on our agenda, the guy running the PowerPoint, is our Goshen High School Carpentry class project. Mr. Russell and our teacher, and Mrs. Durazio, our family engagement specialist, are going to talk about this. There are times when you see something done by a group of people that it really touches you. I think it touches you as an educator to see the work that these two grown-ups down here on the end are doing with kids. And it touches me even more to see the work that they did, using their hands to build something really, really special for children. So I'll turn things over to Mr. Russell, who wants to talk about this project, but I'll tell you, not a whole lot that'll make you feel proud of the work these people are doing. So, Mr. Russell.
So we had a great opportunity to team up with Superintendent Report this past fall, and we were able to. These guys were able to build and assemble bunk beds for children to get them off the floor in our town, be able to serve the kids of our district and make an immediate impact on them and on our class. So it's our goal. We wanted to make 10 bunk beds this fall, and we did. And so it's kind of in the beginning, like, let's get one child up off the floor before Christmas. Make somebody's Christmas special. And we ended up the Saturday before Christmas, we delivered 7 beds. And we were able to have 7 kids before Christmas sleep in a bed, some of them for the first time. And it's been neat to watch these guys get involved. And it's been neat to see the reaction after we made the delivery. And they actually made the delivery. They set up the beds and then got to witness the kids getting those beds for the first time. So, and I appreciate, we've had a lot of donations, which we appreciate. We've had a lot of support, people in this room, Mr. Razio, Mrs. Walker, and of course the board. We appreciate your support for it. And we look to continue to do this as long as there's a need, which, if there's a need, we'll fill it with it. So it's kind of something that we've embraced as a class, and then we hope to move it on with other kids that come through the program. So, and Shelley was there. She's been there through the whole thing, and turn it over to her.
I will just say that anytime we go into a home, or I go into a home and see that there's a need, we enter it into the Sleep in Heavenly Peace website, and to see these kids, these babies, that's what they are, baby spaces, is like nothing you've ever seen. I'll give you an example. One family had 9 grandchildren she was raising, and when we got the beds all together, one of the 4-year-olds said, "Hey, Wadey." And so I walk over to her and I said, "What?" And she said, "I never had a bed before." And I said, "You've never had a bed before?" And she goes, "No. And I asked Santa Claus to bring it for me. And Wadey, you bought it for me. So thank you." And I will say that when we left and we got in the school van and we were heading back, there wasn't a dry eye in my van, adults and kids alike. And I can just say that it made my Christmas because that's what it's about. And so I'm going to turn it over to Alex Rupp, and she's going to share it from from a student perspective.
So just first thing I have to say is just that this whole project has influenced my life in school and out of school just for the better. I've gotten to see so many just heartwarming things for this project. I got to see my teacher, Mr. Russell, just really engage in his class for once. And
After 29 years.
But I really did get to see him just engage with everything, just the education aspect of it, the personal aspect, the connections. I got to see him excited about the project we were working on, which in turn just made me more excited to work on the beds. And I think I can speak for all of us when I say that it was just an event that it's just indescribable about how good it makes you feel. Not only to just build them and know that you're building them for a good reason, but to be able to deliver them and just watch these kids run in the room and see their towering beds with their floral bed sheets or their shark bed sheets or just something that they've never had before. And there's a video on my phone of them running in that room that will never leave it, because it's something that you can watch over and over again and it'll make you cry every single time. And I was actually in her van with her and we went on her delivery with her, and all four of us got in the van and immediately just bawled, just happy and sad tears because they were just so excited. And I don't get involved in my community often, and this project really just made me realize that I needed to, because I walked into conditions that were unreal to me, and it made me appreciate what I had, and it made me appreciate every ounce of work that I put in that bed. Every day of Russell saying, get up, get working over here, come screw this in, or cut these boards, or something else. And overall, it was a really amazing experience for all of us. Yeah.
Okay, so questions?
So you're building the bed and also providing mattresses and bedding and everything?
Yeah.
They have, when we leave, they have a bed, they have a mattress, they have a plastic mattress cover, they have sheets, and they have a comforter set.
So how many children are in need of beds in Goshen alone that have?
When we worked with Sleep and Having Peace in the beginning, he estimated there'd be about 70. That that's the statistics that have been taken. That's his guess that there's probably about 70 kids out there without a bed.
70 kids in Goshen?
Yes.
Yeah. So we need to find them, and then when we find them, we'll provide for them.
Awesome work, guys. Making a huge difference. Thank you.
Yeah, greatly appreciated. Like you said, changing your insides as well. You know what I mean? Because you're seeing something you probably haven't seen before. So it is a great experience. Appreciate all your hard work. And we're here for the program. So.
And I also want to commend the kids, because when we got back in the van, one of them said, can I buy these kids gifts? Can I, I saw that there was a pond in the backyard. Can I get these kids fishing, whatever this is? Fishing poles. And, another one said, I lived in those conditions, so I know what it's like. And just to see them blossom through this was absolutely amazing.
Great job.
Yeah, great job.
Again, I have certificates. I think you guys already got your award. They're looking at the teary eyes out here, including mine. So, Mr. Russell. Your certificate, sir. Okay, thank you for your achievement and for outstanding achievement as a staff member. Thank you for doing this. Thank you. Mrs. Razzio, I'm gonna let you do the kids here, Mr. Russell. Sure. You also have a few that are not here. You do. Thank you.
Mr. Edward.
Thank you for making me cry again tonight. I got to see the video before Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to see it after Christmas. Mrs. Durazio decided she wanted to do that to me again. Here you guys talked about it. Here you talk about it after. So,
yeah, again, working with kids like this just makes my job so much easier to come to work every day and to know that you get to work with kids like this. I mean, there's nothing better than it, actually. So we got Nick Ducksap. And Kyle Crothers. Come on in here, Cody. Cody Grubb. And Connor Hellenthal. Sanitizer.
hand sanitizer.
And Alex Rupp.
Alex, thank you for the comic relief too on Mr. Russell.
I had to get it again.
When can I get your review?
I was thinking the exact same.
All right, thanks again. Appreciate it. Turn it over to you, Mr. Edwards.
The next award is to be able to hand out to recognize our school board, because this is School Board Recognition Month. And January is designated that everywhere across the state of Ohio. And it's a month just to thank you guys for serving the kids, staff, and families of our community. I tell you right there is your reward that you saw. And I don't know what I can say today that thanks you for your service more than seeing what those kids right there, to see the fruits of all of your labors. But I do want to thank you. You serve so many roles in your life. Some of you are grandparents. All of you are parents. Most of you have a full-time job. This is not a full-time job for anybody out there in the audience. You get the pleasure of signing up for a very, 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 very part-time job that consumes a lot of time of reading emails, my stacks of documents that I send you every month, my reports that you get every other day, and listening, answering emails, answering phone calls, all of those pieces, which it is appreciated that as you serve your roles in your life as a father, a wife, as a husband, that you also serve these roles for our kids as well. So I guess I want to say, first of all, thank you for raising your hand to set the vision for our kids. The portrait of a graduate, for example, for those of you sitting on the audience, is something that our Board of Education has developed along with the administrative team and some staff input about what do we want a Goshen graduate to look like. It sets that overall vision. And then you help us acquire resources and set directions towards that. So I want to thank you for that, and thank you for being the public servants. And today, we realize that, we can't give you too big of awards, certainly not a cash award. But we kind of thought about, every year they give out awards for best actors, best supporting actors, actresses, and they're the Oscars, right? So we're here today to award you with an Oscar. But even better yet, we thought, what's a good movie without a poster?
Nice.
Okay, so you could see, we have developed for you your very own poster to go with your award for best leaders, most dedicated to our kids, shaping young lives, impacting our community, and building bright futures. So we want to thank you guys. I want to thank Mark Slagle's little artwork for us and making that for us. So I'll do my best. I'll go back into my glasses. Okay, it's not real gold. Julie Casey.
Thank you.
Yes,
Very
your
much.
Oscar.
Oh, they're actually like heavy.
That's some good plastic.
That's awesome.
Bill Herrera. Thank you, Mr. Herrera, for your service for our kids. Mrs. Gray, thank you for your service to our kids. For those of you who haven't gotten a trophy in a while. Mr. Gray, for your service to our kids. Thank you for your service to our kids.
Appreciate it.
And we appreciate you guys. It's a small token from the kids and the community. Just a little quick back of that. Choose to hang that up at home. Oops.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank you guys for your service.
All right, moving on to old business. Turn it back over to you.
Okay, you guys had in your packet, and I gave to you on the Wednesday before vacation, or excuse me, before last week, in the middle of the week, before your board packet came out, the A to Z checklist. Before we left on Christmas break for vacation, the A to Z checklist was handed to you, and that is, once again, it's a kind of a summary of the work that you guys have done for the year. And we submit it to the Ohio School Boards Association, and they judge effectiveness of school boards. It's also kind of a self-assessment. Are we on the right track with a lot of the things we're doing? I took notes. Some of you gave me feedback, and I included those notes in here. I know you've read those. I would like to take just a moment to go through a few of those highlights with you, and then I'm going to ask you if there's anything else that you noticed when I sent this to you, if there's anything else that I did happen to miss. And then on this, for example, the A to Z, if you remember, has 26 statements demonstrating school effectiveness. And the first one's committed to a vision of high expectations for student achievement, quality instruction. We talked just a moment ago about the publicizing the portrait of a graduate. You guys worked together on the portrait of a graduate for our community and stakeholders. Every year, you meet with the district's administrative team to update our target areas at a Board of Education meeting. We'll do that again here this spring, and setting direction for next school year. Those target areas serve to guide our district efforts for academic achievement and a return to learn plan under the COVID-19 pandemic. And then we provide updates on those. I'm not going to read all these bullets to you. I'm just pointing to some of the highlights. B is defining and monitoring clear goals to achieve that vision. Once again, the SMART goals, action steps, and portrait of a graduate. And monitoring those on the second page through regular updates at your board meetings on the district goals, which you receive every month. C, we keep up on all of our policies as directed to do so. D is a collaborative relationship with staff. You guys have official committees, the facilities, staff and public relation, business advisory council, curriculum CIP that staff sit on and provide input into school district decisions, and the staff is surveyed regularly to provide feedback. E is a collaborative relationship with the community. I think that was a great example of that, what we try to build in our schools. You know, it's more than just about academic learning and being great citizens in a community. Whether it's the Thanksgiving food drive that's on there, the warrior packs, the holiday giving trees, our partnerships with groups like the Lions Club or Chamber of Commerce that assist the entire community. But I also think going above that a little bit, Mrs. Durazio's position, the family engagement specialist, to work with families. So how do you know that a kid doesn't have a bed? Somebody's got to dig that information up. And that's part of the work that she's doing now. And able to jump in on efforts like that. That's collaboration with your community, getting out there and working with them. So the next page, F, strong and external internal communication structure. The F is internal, G is external, and the F is, talks about eliciting staff input, and it also talks about sharing information with the staff. G talks about strong and effective external. I think that publicizing the board meetings and videoing those and broadcasting those is a good example of that. Following up, keeping information active on our website, all the other communication modes we use, whether it's a billboard, Twitter, Facebook, email, school messenger. But each one of those are ideas and information about that. H is using data. We've used data on enrollment growth to make decisions. We certainly study report card data and academic data, and I present that to you guys. And then you support the use of data by teachers and administrators to promote learning. Under aligning and sustaining resources, I think this is a big one this year. We got ESSER funds from the federal government, and we focus those on really targeting the mental health needs and academic needs of kids. And you're going to see that one come across many of these. Investing in early literacy at the Mark Cook, Spalding, with hiring extra literacy interventionists, hiring the math intervention help at the middle school, high school, and Spalding. And I think that investing in the Ascend Academy again with renewed resources, all of those are examples of wise investment of aligning resources. High academic standards. I think we talked about the goals, but I think what part of that's in the results. Goshen Schools got an A on the graduation rate. The niche ratings at Goshen Schools, 109th out of 608 districts, and the top 17% in the state. I like the county rankings, number 2 for having best overall schools, number 1 for having the safest school, number 1 for having the best teachers, and 2 for being the best place to teach. And then Spalding being ranked in the top 10% of schools, elementary schools in Ohio. I think that's a little bit with high expectations. Serve with the superintendent and treasurer, or the next, that's K. I'll go with the treasurer one in a minute. You do the yearly retreat with the school administration. And that follows the next one too as well at L. M, I mentioned you guys all attended the Capitol Conference. You go to Southwest Regional dinners, and some of you have done new board member trainings. You've also done OSBA leadership training. All stuff, of course, that we're just glad you do for our kids. N and O are, you guys set goals with the superintendent and treasurer and evaluate them yearly. P is collaboration with business leaders. I think that goes to our BAC, Business Advisory Council. O is focusing on policy, overall direction, and working hard to fulfill the mission and vision of the school district. R, update, keep policy up to date. S, been visible. Heck, you guys chaperoned after prom. I saw 3 of you there at after prom. I've seen some of you guys teaching in junior achievement. But you certainly attend lots and lots of events in schools. T, communicating with legislators and local government officials. That is to advocate for Goshen kids beyond just Goshen. And you can see you've regularly communicated on fair school funding formula. We've mailed letters to legislators on new legislation, from graduation requirements to report card reform to the backpack bill. And we even hosted Representative Jean Schmidt this year in our buildings to let her see a little bit about what Goshen kids do. You reviewed the annual audit report. We got a clean audit, practicing fiscal accountability. A couple bullets in there I think are pretty good. The second and third one, we spend $586 less per pupil than the average district in the state of Ohio. And the next one, Goshen taxpayers pay 27% of what costs to educate a student in our district versus 41% in the average in the state of Ohio. So we try to do it at affordable cost. We talked about data and W. You guys, I talked about X, you participate in regional meetings, and Y is the Capitol Conference. And C is, I think, just it's just another way. And in that one, I focused on the renewed learning plan and the resources we invested from ESSER. The other page has some of the things that we're proud of in the district, and I talked about several of those. There's a top workplace for Goshen local schools, Mark Cook Preschool being a 5-star step up to quality school, and the college and career readiness offering over 30 opportunities on campus with 2,200 college hours earned. So that's just some examples there. I know that I skipped 2/3 of it for your sake. I know you've seen it, but are there additions that I missed that we need to add or changes that you didn't mention to me before?
Anyone? Sounds like that.
Okay. Let me pass it down. Each one of you guys haven't signed that, John. So, and then we need, if that's approved, then we need to have a motion to send that to Ohio School Board Association.
So we have a motion to approve the OSB School Board recognition for the
21-22 school year.
effective school board A to Z checklist.
So moved.
We have a first, we have a second. We have a first, a second. Have any questions? If none, Mr. Bailey, call the roll, please.
Mrs. Gray,
Yes.
Mrs. Casey,
Yes.
Mr. Bentine,
Yes.
Mr. Gray,
Yes.
Mr. Herrera. Yes.
Anybody have any update on the green property closing?
Green property is closed. Mr. Gray, Mr. Schenkel attended the closing, and the money is in the bank. So final takeaway was with everything on $608,000, I believe, right, Mr. Gray?
Yep.
So
We're out of the real estate business.
we're out of the real estate business. That's right. We've been in it for a long time.
Long time. All right. Moving on to item 10, new business. Item A, public participation. Do we have anybody in the audience that'd like to address the board?
You have one person signed up.
We do?
Jen Patrick. Yeah.
Okay. You want to come forward and state your name address, and then roughly, per the board policy, you have about 2 minutes.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
However you'd like to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Give your name and address first.
Jennifer Patrick, 5922 Marsh Circle. Okay, this, I'm here tonight because I want to address some concerns I have about bullying going on in the middle school. This past year, my child has had to deal with bullying on and off like most other children. There seems to be a specific group of kids that like to make fun of, bully, harass other kids while videotaping it on their phones. On December 21st, I came across multiple Instagram accounts where these kids have posted videos and pictures of them doing this. It's called Exposing Goshen Kids. Example, throwing dodgeballs at the deaf girl in the gym while the teacher sat there and did nothing. Also using electrical tape and tying a student up while blindfolding him and recording it. Then taking their phone pictures being taken in the bathrooms at the school and with the girls and the boys' restrooms and being talked about on these Instagram pages. When I, as well as others, have reported this, we are told that they're given to the school resource officer and they don't know what happens with those accounts. Then told kids get in trouble, however, the same kids are there every day. Today, after a meeting that we had with the police department and showing them all of the evidence of these accounts, they said that they would look into finding who the kids were and if there was anything that was consensual, which left me wondering if anything was even given to them in the first place. I feel more should be done to help protect our kids while at school from things like this, or someone should be in a role to specifically monitor and look into what is being recorded and posted inside the school before someone seriously gets injured and the school is known for something it doesn't want to be known for.
Okay. Thank you. Can you, have you got with the principal and our superintendent and treasurer on that?
Yes,
on those
I have
terms?
spoken
Okay.
to Ms. Flynn on Friday.
Okay, all right, thank you. We'll follow up with them and see what we can get done about it.
I have all the screenshots of everything that I did for the police department today.
All right, appreciate it.
You did meet, who did you meet with from the PD today?
Well, my husband went over there because my husband's a state trooper.
Okay.
And he met with Bob and he met with
Oh, Chief Rose.
Met with Chief Rose?
Yep.
Okay.
sorry.
You're good, you're good.
And he met with is it Elkhorn? I don't want to
Alcorn?
yes, that's it, yes.
Okay, I just.
And he said that he wasn't aware of the situation, which he was going to check with Officer
Rose.
Is that it? Okay. And yeah, they were going to get back of it. They hadn't shown the videos because there's videos still out there of this.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
I can tell you, my daughter and,
Eliza?
yeah, and
Yes.
two of her friends went to the principal
Yes.
about this a couple of days ago.
This happened on Friday too, because my daughter had texted me to come get her because she was so upset over things and they had all been in the office together.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. All right, moving on to item 10B, financials. Do we have a motion to approve items 1 through 8? So moved. We have a first, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a first and a second. Are there any questions? If none, Mr. Bailey, will you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Gray,
Yes.
Mrs. Casey,
Yes.
Mr. Valentine,
Yes.
Mr. Gray,
Yes.
Mr. Herrera. Yes.
Moving on to item 10C, personnel motion with the addendum. Do we have a motion to approve items 1, 2, and 3?
So moved.
We have a first, we have a second.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any questions? If none, Mr. Bailey, will you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Casey,
Yes.
Mr. Valentine.
Yes.
Mr. Gray,
Yes.
Mr. Herrera. Yes. Mrs. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Edwards, you wanna?
Yes. So I'd like to pause for just a minute, and I'd like to bring up item on this, which was hiring of the new Goshen High School football coach, which is Coach Shane Elkin. So I'd like to have Coach Elkin please come forward. I want to share with you a few things. Coach Elkin, I would like you to introduce you to. It comes to us with a whole world's worth of experience that I've had the pleasure of being able to witness chunks of his career throughout our life. He went through a very rigorous interview process. We had over 20 candidates apply for this position. I believe we interviewed 9 in the first round, narrowed it down to 3 candidates, and Coach Elkin is the gentleman that we have selected to be our next head football coach and to make a difference with our young people of our community. Coach Elkin is an outstanding football coach. His work can be evidenced by his almost 30 years worth of experience in coaching football. He is, you're not going to find anybody that has anything but praise for him as a football coach, as a person, or as a teacher. He'll be a tremendous addition to our athletic program and our kids. I want to share with you a couple things that his references, people that wrote us a letter of recommendation, mentioned. He's an outstanding coach and a better person. He's a great teacher of the game, puts in as much time in the off season as he does during the season. High expectation, and his kids love him. He'll do a good job. Nobody will outwork him, and the kids will love him. He comes to us with experience from Thomas More University, Winton Woods High School, Dixie Heights, Simon Kenton, McNick. Was a head coach at Milford for a period of time, and served us as a defensive coordinator for 3 years until he spent a couple of years a little bit back home at his daughter's high school and coaching some football there. So Coach Elkin has a big, long resume that I can read you all. And he's got a bunch of books that he piled on all of us during the interview process. But I think a lot of it is the hard work that he'll put in on behalf of our kids is to be commended. I know he wanted to share a few words.
Yes.
So I'll let you do so, sir.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you. More than anything, I appreciate the pride that you guys have in your community. And that is the main reason that I wanted to be part of Goshen as the head football coach. The 3 years that I was an assistant coach, I can tell you one thing stands out in my mind like no other. The administration here supports football. I was in the weight room one day, and the superintendent and the treasurer both dropped into the weight room to see what the athletes were doing. From my perspective, I've been at 8 different schools. I've never seen a superintendent and a treasurer walk into the weight room to see what the athletes were doing and truly care what they were doing. So when this position opened, I knew I wanted to be the head coach here. I did not apply at any other school. This was the place I wanted to be the head coach. So I thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that, and I appreciate that. I also want to thank my youngest daughter and wife for coming up here with me from Kentucky so we could be here today.
Welcome.
Welcome back. Congratulations.
Coach will be meeting with our young men and
Tomorrow at
ladies
2.
of the program. Tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 2.
Okay. So they do not know who their coach is. So if they're watching tonight, they know who their coach is. So and one of them is in the audience, so he knows who his coach is. So, and I'm sure that some other people will know probably after this evening. So, Coach, congratulations.
Thank
We
you
look
very
forward to having you and seeing you help mentor our young people.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And you can leave too, because you guys have a long drive.
I think there's an important football game on tonight too, right?
Yeah.
There is a football game.
Got that.
Thank you.
These things.
All right. Let's see here. Moving on to item D, miscellaneous. Items 1 through 3. Do we have a motion to approve? So moved. We have a first. We have a second.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Are there any questions? If none, Mr. Bailey, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Benteen,
Yes.
Mrs. Casey,
Yes.
Mrs. Gray,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera. Yes. Mr. Gray.
Yes. And don't forget to send out the donation. Thank you letter.
Yes.
Then item E, Board of Education reports. We'll start with you there, Mr. Benteen.
I did attend the township trustee meeting on December the 14th. Their question to me at that meeting was, what about the real estate? And, of course, I think 2 days after that, one day after that, why you went to the closing. They did receive a thank you. They gave us some help. We had a bus went off the road. Mr. Edwards sent them a thank you for helping and got that bus back on the road. So they acknowledged that. Other than that, they talked about their new radio tower down here. And that's about all. It was mostly donations from the community, but I did attend, did bring them up to date on the real estate.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Ms. Casey?
I don't. Great Oaks meets this Wednesday. So I'll have more information next time.
All right, sounds good. Mrs. Gray, anything?
I do not have a report tonight.
Ms. Herrera? All right. All right, moving on to item F, Superintendent's Report.
Well, as we stated at the beginning of the school year, we would carefully track COVID data and the safety of our students and our staff and our ability to continue to offer in-person, face-to-face instruction. We're going to be here every single day that we can be here. When we came into school, COVID was pretty rampant. That is the 14-day average or 7-day average, of 539 cases per 100,000 people. And COVID was very, very widespread. We were dealing with a lot of cases, and we saw that wave of it decreasing across the months to 346 from 537 to 167 in November. And we thought, oh, this is fantastic. Things are going away. And then things started to kick back up again before Christmas to 439. So this is the most recent data I have, which was at the beginning of last week, which was 825. So we're almost experiencing almost twice as many cases in Claremont County as we were experiencing before. We all can read the paper and listen to the news. And what I can do as best measure is that we are, again, trying to see, most importantly, what happens in Goshen. So when we had the November meeting, we were at 192 students and 35 staff. In December meeting, we were 242 students with 47 staff members. And then since our December meeting, we're now 320 students and 77 staff members have tested positive. It is, I'm not going to mince words and say that the 6 days we've been back from holiday break are very challenging to juggle staff for our administration, to be flexible in the case of our staff who helps cover for a neighbor's class or does a little different job, a job without, somebody that helped them do the job before. It's been a very challenging time. You can see that, and that is really interesting that we built this presentation today we finished it at 3:30. We came over here. It says 16 students and 3 staff members. The number for today is 22 students and 5 staff members because we've had 6 cases of students and 2 cases of staff since then, which is, I thought I was updating this along the way. I didn't know we downloaded the presentation. So, but I guess my point is, since we've been back from the holiday break, we've had 71 student cases of COVID, and we've had 32 cases of staff COVID. So it has been a very challenging opening to the year. I mean, the kids are happy to be here. They're going through getting education. Our goal is to stay here every single day. Our goal is that I'm not going to pretend that this slide's up to date because we put this one in there this morning. But our goal is to do everything we can to keep them here. You can see October, our attendance was the lowest of the year. November went up. We're feeling pretty good about that, which those numbers are low compared to average. And part of that is because people are staying home when they're sick, which is good. That's what we want. To December, a slight drop, and really the drop happened the week right before Christmas. And you can see the attendance has been dropping off here in January. Again, our kids are happy to be here. Our teachers are working hard. These guys are learning. They're getting instruction. We're focused on our priority of maintaining in-person instruction. We've implemented the new quarantine guidelines and communicated those to our parents and our staff. It's It's even more challenging, but it's better for kids. Oh, were you exposed out of school, in school? Were you vaccinated, not vaccinated? Were you masked? Okay, you're 5 days with a mask, you're 10 days with a mask. It's challenging, but our kids get to stay in school, which is a plus. And pretty much everybody chooses that for the most part. Just a few notes. Our worst day of attendance was Friday. We had 2,917 kids and we had 500 of them absent. Our girls basketball, boys JV basketball have had games rescheduled because of positive cases. Even though we could do those mask to stay and test to play rules, we don't have any tests left because we had 100 starting on Monday, and in 3 days we gave out all 100 tests. I have ordered them, and hopefully we'll get some back here soon. We just had no idea. On Monday we handed out 3 tests, and then Tuesday and Wednesday came, and we were handing them out like crazy. And we all know from watching the news what the situation we are with testing. So, I mean, current status is we are certainly juggling staffing, keeping students up to date who are out absent. We've been averaging 31 staff members a day absent, with 35 today. And then I think the other pieces are balancing that quality of education and in-person instruction. We've operated from trying to be smart and, as long as we can staff the buildings, and as long as we've got more of the kids in school than out of school, that we can educate a group of people and give them the best education here in person, and then any short-term moves we'd have to remote learning would be strategic and based on learning or based on data. We wouldn't just do as some districts have done and said, we're going all remote learning for 4 weeks or for the next month. It would be strategic. But we are in for a challenging couple of weeks. It's been challenging. God bless Mrs. Walker's heart. I mean, I saw her at 3:30 and smiled at her, and then we got 3 more positive cases that she's got a contact trace on in the morning that didn't even get to today. So it's going to be challenging. I guess, what questions do you guys have? Do you have any comments, suggestions? Just to keep on doing the best that we can, and that's what we plan on doing.
Right. Anybody have anything?
Any questions? I know you guys get, just so for the public to know too as well, these guys get a daily report, so that none of this data is new to them. And they can call and ask questions then too. This is just kind of a summary. So honestly, we're just going to continue to work hard at it to keep them here in school, and if we can't do that, we will do strategic, short-term, targeted things as much as we can do. Recognizing the idea that to believe we will get through this totally unscathed would probably be not very realistic. So any changes or anything that you guys want to make now, or continue working as we're doing?
Yeah, I'd say
We just
continue.
targeted data, like meaning, I'll give an example, this is not true or anything, but like if there were an excessive amount of staff and students out in one school, we would close that school.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Or it could be a strategic thing where you're missing so many people district-wide, you do a 1 day around a week. You could even do a couple of classrooms at a grade level. And certainly our priority is always on our youngest guys too, being here. Priority's on all of them. I mean, I'm proud of our staff. They've done a great job of keeping people here. Missed a couple days in the fall in 7th grade when over half the kids were absent. So, Bill, did you have a question?
Just like she was saying, just specific buildings, if need be, great.
I think one of the things is we've watched staff, they put the new 5-day quarantine in when you're positive. Thinking that might help, but some of those are lingering on, so it's still turning into 7, 8, 9. For that 5-day, getting staff back, we thought would help a little bit. It's lingering, so you're they're not able to come back. So that hasn't really helped tremendously when we've had staff out. It's not over in 5 for the most part.
And we've got, I mean, for example, a lot of times we'll use our tutors, so you don't get quite the academic intervention that you hope to get on that day because you had to pull 2 of the people to put them in classrooms. But again, being here is our top priority. I think our teachers feel that way. I know our families feel that way. And we will continue to communicate with them. I sent out 2 communications last week, one with the new guidelines and one saying, please just be prepared with a backup plan. Know that we want to be here. We scrap and fight to be here on days. There's a lot of people that didn't want to be here last Friday when it snowed.
Come on, Mr. Edwards. Give people a snow day. I'm just kidding.
You can't create it. We did have some in the parking, so.
No, I think it's important to realize that the numbers are going up because people are essentially back to living their lives. They're trying to live with the virus. So I think it's important that we kind of follow suit. We come to school like normal, we'll do what we can for those that are at home. So, I mean, I think I like the way that it's going personally.
Yep.
How is our substitute pool? Is it going well still?
We're on Facebook land here. I'd love to say we've got some incredible subs that are dedicated here every day. I mean, we've got 20, 21, 22 subs that show up every day. And we couldn't do it without them.
They're pretty dedicated to us.
Dedicated to us. They're showing 22 showing up every day.
Thank you to the youth.
Thank you to them. Yes.
And once again,
That's
that's
what-
where
yeah.
we've spent some of that ESSER funding.
Right.
We dedicated that to hiring some additional substitute teachers who came every day, and we have to have them.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, which we also have to remember is when I say there were
35
staff out for COVID, there were also 2 surgeries.
We still got maternity
Some
leave,
babies.
some surgeries.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, those things, life didn't stop.
Right.
There are other health issues going on.
Well, and
in
our
world.
teachers are being hugely flexible too. If it's
They
a
are.
period of coverage or
Right.
combining, I mean, we're getting through it with great people.
Yep.
Some staff. But hopefully we can keep doing
We are always looking for
sustain
substitute
it.
teachers.
Yeah, we're always looking for subs.
So, yeah, and I will keep you guys informed. You guys know, I mean, we've operated with the same vision, and I would agree with Mrs. Casey. I think it's been working. Continue to work at it the very best that we can. So that's my return to learn. And then my goals update. I have in front of you my goals update, and I don't know. I have to look. See, there were a couple things I wanted to highlight on it. Again, this goes back to that piece of you guys set the direction, you guys set the portrait of the graduate, you set the target areas, and then we work at those, and then I update you guys on those on a monthly basis. Just a couple of notes that I want to give you under our high quality instruction goal. Mrs. Ginther and Mrs. Scherzinger received an additional $17,000 through grant monies that they're spending to use on text sets for GHS English and Social Studies teachers, and are working to plan professional development for those teachers. Under early literacy, talk about using data for instruction. Those are all about using learning data from Acadience and map testing to make decisions about intervention and who started an intervention at the beginning of January and things that we have to do to get those kids up to grade level before their stated assessments or moving on to the next grade level. College and career readiness, we had 12 GHS students earn industry credentials in the Rise Up retail and hospitality services. And we have students who've registered and began work towards the STNA credentials and maintenance operator credentials. We've been working on something with the Oaks with some of our seniors that don't necessarily have a plan, and working on towards getting them some certification and credentials that lead to a career that have a meaningful wage, a living wage attached to them. So we've got some kids starting in those programs where they're going to attend school here 3 days a week, down there 2 days a week, that type of thing to get these credentials before the end of the school year.
Is that new this year?
That's new this year, yeah. STNA a little bit last year, I think, at the end of the year, and we did phlebotomy first semester. So we're kind of a little bit of a guinea pig and pilot for them to see how this could work with school districts. And Mark Edwards has been working with them on that.
That was also the 3 and 2.
Yes. Yeah. The bullet below that, 5 students have been registered for pre-apprenticeships for 10 weeks with Festo Corporation. It also opens the door to a full-time apprenticeship where they would work 3 days a week and attend 2 days a week of college at Sinclair upon graduation from Goshen. In mechatronics, which is plant engineering, which John probably knows a little bit about.
Festo is one of our suppliers, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
And they were able to earn an associate's degree from Sinclair after graduation. Now, they have to compete for those. These 5 students have these pre-apprenticeships. They compete for spots to get into that program. But again, it's, different approaches to opening doors for our kids.
Yeah.
Actually, one of Goshen graduate is our sales rep, or Festo sales rep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's neat.
And I think we played to help too.
Under the area of communication, we talked about those being sent out to our parents, communicating our principals' newsletters, and also we sent out our December G News to our public. And then underneath of, I'm going to skip to student development, under holiday generosity. That's one of the things I just think is so special, whether it was the Sleep in Heavenly Peace delivery for Christmas, to the Maker Care class that made 60 stockings for nursing home people, to the Lady Warriors basketball team that sold $1,000 worth of candy bars and went shopping for the families, to the 51 students at Spalding that got taken care of during the holidays, the 62 at GMS, the 53 at Mark Cook. The GHS staff are taking care of 45 students. Each one of those bullets under there, I just think it exudes of generosity of our kids and our staff and families. So that's my superintendent's goals update. So underneath of your guys' packets there, I have for you work session notes. The work session we have planned for the 26th on facilities. 1 page, looks like this, bullets. Okay. If you could look down and through that, I asked you what information on facilities you would like for me to bring. And that's the stuff that you guys shared with me. Are there additional items that you would like for me to bring? Todd, Brian, and I. These are your guys' ideas. I asked you after last meeting to share with me.
It looks like most of it's covered. Anybody got anything that's missing?
And you feel free to call me if it is over the next 2 weeks. Do you guys feel like you need anything else from the township? Do you want Ingram to come and sit, come and speak? He's willing to do either one.
Yeah, would be good.
Which one?
You say come.
So come and sit or come and speak?
Yeah, I'd say probably if he wants to come, let him come, but I don't really think we need anything at this point. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know if he needs to present.
just got an update from him and
Questions. Yeah.
we have to do
Answer
housing
questions.
study, so.
You're already gonna have this one question answered, right?
Right.
How many homes?
How many homes?
Yeah. It's up to you guys. I don't really think he needs to come personally, but
Right. I mean, unless something
not this
major
early in
has
the game,
changed.
right?
He might even be able to send a note. Say,
Yeah.
This is an update where we stand, possible, subdivisions, what kind of permits they have already, where they are at in the process, how close to breaking ground. Or,
Yeah, that's listed on here too, so.
yeah. I mean, he could probably just do one page thing, probably, actually. That might be
And
good.
if he'd like to come, he can come, but we're not gonna ask him to speak necessarily, be able to answer questions if we would have them. I'm sure he'd be glad to do that if it's on his calendar, just in case. And you guys also asked for John Rodemacher to come, so that's what we changed today. How about, in talking to a couple of you, typically when we've done this, we've done it at our spring retreat. Since we're not doing this at our spring retreat, I typically would not have the entire administrative team there at this one until you guys would request that at a later session. We're actually doing something. I have asked Mrs. Scherzinger to be there for sure. As far as the rest of the team, do you guys just want to make this Brian, Todd, myself, central office administration, let the building principal stay at home and rest up from contact tracing? Do you want them all to come and listen to this?
I don't think they need to be here for that.
I wouldn't think so. I don't think so.
Not if this is our focus.
Okay.
And I think we need to put on here, Daryl, for instance, if we would build a new building, how many classrooms do we need to add over there at the high school?
Okay.
Here at the high school? I mean, just to kick it around.
Yeah, I think that's a big one, like an overall assessment of how things could shift and ideas in that way. Where the
Because when
need
you look at
is.
number 3, you know,
I mean, we
you're
all
talking about the first eight grades. And so if you do that, you know, we haven't done anything at the high school. The last time we talked about, you know,
That space is tight here, yeah.
rooms or whatever. So I
Yeah.
think we need to discuss that.
Honestly, every space issue we addressed in the last one, like, how would that be fixed with the idea, right?
Yep.
I mean, across the board, we have issues in every building.
Okay.
Space issues, I should say.
Bill, anything else from you?
Okay.
You good? All right, I think that's it.
Okay, so, next thing I've got is, I had those up there on there, would have been good.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, been working this pretty good. We're doing something different. This year, we're gonna do business recognition breakfast. For those of you that are interested and able to attend, February 24th at 8:30 a.m. The idea was, has been discussed, of maybe just looking at something different with COVID going on and everything. Some people were a little more hesitant to come to a basketball game. This will spice it up a little bit, something different, and we'll try it. It's been a great success in the community. We may go back to that, but we would recognize these guys and we'll be able to use some of our kids while we're here at school. And that will be at the high school at 8:30 a.m. on the 24th. And lastly, I don't want to get a date tonight. We'll talk about that at our 26th or our February meeting for our spring retreat. But I do want to know, we typically have had setting a strategic plan for the district for the following year. Bill Sears has retired. And Brad Lovell is not doing that work anymore. I just want to know if you guys would like to do that piece, the strategic planning piece again. I just need a lot of heads to go out and find a facilitator for us to do that. I have some suggestions from people that, one's from Mr. Sears, who knows us well. If we're going to do those first 3 bullets, then I need to go out and do that. Yes, no?
Would it be similar to what we did last time where we added to what we already had? Is that what you're talking about?
With the goals, portrait, add, change, anything that would be that setting the direction, yes.
Do we feel like we'd have anything else to add?
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of feel like we hit it hard this past time compared
We
to
did.
years prior.
We did.
What if we looked a little bit at assessment of like what we've
What we've
outlined.
done.
Like, we've put some plans in place, but assessing those and where
they've
people are, how
Yeah,
they work,
the progress.
the progress, how our people are responding to them, feedback from the people who are in the day-to-day.
Okay. So reports from the buildings or people whose area of responsibility it is on feedback towards those. And then we would edit or change those based upon that feedback. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. You ever done a group level assessment?
Define that.
Just a way of like assessing a project or programming or anything like that where you get feedback from various levels. It's very anonymous, right? You write questions that lead to and put them all around the room, and people will write on them and add to them or star things that they feel as well. It's just a great way to get just like really raw anonymous feedback to allow you to continue to build on the programming that you already have in place. We've done it for a few different programs and grants just with work.
Yeah. We've certainly done this at the building level, and we've done similar things at the district level with administration and leadership teams. We've also done some of that with department chairs. But that's even something we could do here too as well. So what I'm hearing from you guys is let's have the people who've had their boots on the ground give reports out, and then we'll make changes or whatever from that. And that would be our strategic planning piece.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, and that's all I have, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Moving on to item 6, other. Anybody have anything else we need to discuss tonight? If not,
I do have, in listening to everything and what they did about the beds, is there something that we can add to the final forms questionnaire at the beginning of the year that parents fill out to say, like, do you feel like your basic needs are met? Where they would kind of identify, and then maybe that helps Shelley and our people give community resource, identify community resources for those families, or even, I mean, not just a bed, but basic needs.
I know they're working, the district mental health team is working with the counselors, with mental health, with Catalyst, with Shelley. And there is a form on our website where folks can go and put if they have any of those needs.
Yeah.
So, but asking it from the start, I don't know, I'd have to look into, that type of, how we would collect that and look at that. But I do know that they're, with Shelley and what she's doing, she's getting a lot of good information through that, through the counselors, through the teachers. But an extra layer may never hurt. Just have to look at how we would implement that and where.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? No? All right, do we have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting? We have a first, do we have a second? We have a first, a second. Any questions? If none, Mr. Bailey, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Herrera?
Yes.
Mrs. Gray?
Yes.
Mrs. Casey?
Yes.
Mr. Dean?
Yep.
Mr. Gray?
Yes. Meeting adjourned at 8:24 p.m. And Happy New Year to everybody. You got papers for us to sign, Mr. Bailey?
The only thing I need is the A to Z
I
checklist.
think somebody
None of
signed it.
Daryl's paper, none of.
I need yours if you signed your, word.
Jen,
Already
you
got it.
say that Chief Rose has all that stuff.